Dinesh Kumar Bhandari, he is Chief Engineer and Director for Concrete Curations Private Limited, a precast specialty engineer with more than 15 years of global experience with precast concrete construction. He holds a master's degree in structural engineering from University of Houston. He worked in US precast industry for around 8 years. The project portfolio includes multiple parking garages, industrial buildings, commercial buildings, and stadiums. He moved back to India in 2012 to join Team H Precast as the technical manager and was promoted to executive director technology in 2018. He was instrumental in creating standards for the concrete flowchart of activities with respect to precast, starting from feasibility studies to handling over the finished structure. So we have with us Mr. Dinesh Kumar Bhandari, and he will be speaking on comparison of precast building design standards between US and India. So welcome, Dinesh sir. We would have loved if you could have come here. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Good morning, everybody. I like she mentioned, I could not join because of changing COVID protocols, and I'm glad that I'm able to give the presentation online. That's a very good thing. Let me just share my screen real quick. Okay, I'm thinking everybody is able to see the screen. I'll make it full screen. Yes. So I came in at the last end of Amit's presentation, and we know each other for quite some time now. And exactly what he mentioned, the difference, he put the nail on the coffin as the difference between the U.S. Structures and the Indian structures is, US buildings, they want to expose the precast. They want to show the joints, show the reveals, show the true color of concrete. Where here in India, we try to camouflage everything. We try to hide everything. We want to build more things on top of precast, and I feel it's we're trying to we're not using the full potential of concrete, and just doing things which we don't need to. So this is one of the examples of a building. It's from PCI website. I just took it. It was, I think, one of the award recipients for best design or something like that. So you can see in this, there's modularity, but there's some changes in the elevation. So changes in the color of the panels. I think the red colors are all stained concrete. The dark gray colors are just regular concrete, and the white colors are probably painted. And you can see the different window sizes and stuff like that. Anyway, so I'll move to my presentation. I guess I'll start with the COVID state of affairs and how that has changed our industry. I'll mention what we do and stuff like that. What, why, how precast. We've been talking about this since, I think Amit has also moved back probably the same year as I did in 2012, and we've been pushing precast in the market for almost 10 years now. And this is still an emerging concept. It's still emerging market in the construction industry. We're not even 1% of the total industry as a whole. Then I will discuss about the design and detailing standards of US and Indian, the differences, and some examples of what I have seen, I have faced, and what we can do. And that will be the closing statements. So the COVID state of affairs, the construction industry was not doing great even before COVID. We've had challenges with respect to limitation in the skilled manpower. I think with this crisis, the change, we will accelerate the change. People will start looking at modular construction, off-site construction, precast construction. They will start thinking as to, we don't have so many people working in the sites. Can we shift them to the factory, get everything done, and then put it together in the site? So there will be radical shifts which will take place for project delivery. I saw Amit's presentation about the complete tracking system, integrated project delivery, building information modeling, all that will shift. Previously, if you worked in two different industries, like we did, US and India, the BIM industry was not set up for that. So now I think they've opened it up, and they say even if you own a license here, you can do projects in the US. If you're shifting to the US, if some of your team is in the US, they can use the same. So there's global licenses available, which is a good thing. So if you have half the team in India, half the team in the US, and people are stuck due to these travel restrictions, the companies can still function using the building information modeling and all that. And I think it's always the disruptors which make the profit, right? So people who follow in line just keep following, and people who stand out the line and think about something out of the box, I think there's so much money to be made in this industry, and we just need to understand how this can be scaled to a level where the profit increases. And of course, early adopters will thrive and survive better than the late bloomers. We've seen so many of these startups coming in, Paytm, Ola, and all. They are the first ones to take some problem and find a solution for that problem. And people who follow, I think they're always chasing. So it's better to adopt early with the new technology, with the changing environment. And there is going to be ample opportunity for PE investments moving forward. I'm sure people are looking at organized construction, industrialized construction as one of the investment opportunities. And I think this will move with COVID. This will increase, the PE investments will increase in the precast industry. About us, we are an architectural engineering and consulting firm based in Coimbatore in Tamil Nadu, and we started in 2020, just in the COVID times, and we provide curated precast engineering and design services along with process management for offsite manufacturing in India and the US. So I was in the US for about 8 years, and I have a licensure from there, a professional engineering licensure there, and so it helped me understand both the industries, and that's one of the mission is how do we bridge that gap of precast between the US market and the Indian market. So I'm a precast engineer since my master's also was in precast engineering, and I did my research in that, and I joined the precast industry, worked there, and moved here. Was with Team H Precast, one of the largest what do you call centralized factory manufacturer, precast manufacturer in India, and I was glad to be associated with them. My wife, she's a part of our organization. She's an architect by profession, and so she handles the architectural portfolios. We do multiple residential structures in the US and here, and not with precast, in wooden and all that. But yeah, it's a collaboration, but mostly it's pushed towards offsite manufacturing. So that's our about us. What, why, how precast? I think this has been discussed, and I'm sure you'll probably hear this through this event. And it's a radical shift from the convention that's pretty well understood. It's an innovative process which will reshape the construction industry, and it's an emerging market with opportunities, and every opportunity provides a challenge. So it has challenges of its own. Industrialization is the key to achieve mass production. India will need 25 million affordable housing by 2020. The Sitco housing, which L&T is working on, it's a great example, and I think that will push people to start using precast for large-scale structures. It's a 5-year project, 10-year project. Put up the factory at the site and do affordable housing, and I understand from his discussion that every 4 years, if you have to shift the factory, that is not sustainable. We need to find a way to make it sustainable, where even these factories can be made in a modular way, where you just remove the bolts and take it and put it in the next thing. And I think the scalability with precast is easier than any other industry, construction industry. So how do we do it? It's a proven technology all around the world. We just need to adopt. We need to learn from our peers, and try to. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. We just need to sharpen our skills to make sure that we can adopt it to the Indian market. Uh, of course, we need standardization. That's a really important thing. I'll show you through my presentation how that can be achieved and how it looks like. Standardization, modularization, and knowledge sharing. So that's where I feel ICI is doing a great job. I think SEMCON has been going on for the past, from what I know, 5-6 years, looking at the precast technology and pushing this technology forward. I think we need more of these knowledge sharing sessions, and an association which will take this forward and share things on the internet as well. The next thing is we would need skill development, manpower training, certifications for precast industries, and manpower, and partnerships for scalability. So there's always going to be one project where it's a large scale construction, and there can be multiple small companies which can come in and do a joint venture, and provide their skill and their expertise into that, and that's something which, moving forward, that is how precast will increase in scale. The process, like I said, we've done so much work with precast that we have a flow chart of activities, and this is how it's supposed to move, and things like that. I won't get too much in detail with this. I'll just it's pretty simple. We start from the feasibility study, pre-sales, which is a concept which, once I moved to India, I understood that none of the projects we were looking at were designed to be precast, so we had to convert them. We had to get the architect's drawings and we had to convert them to precast drawings. They were not precast. So, and then there was always the back and forth with the sales team and the design team and the concepts and all that. Then we get into the design and detailing of structural analysis and all that. From there, we do the complete planning of the project, planning of the molds, planning of the factory utilization, manpower, all that. And then the follows the production, transportation, erection, and finishing activities. There's multiple things which are again split in those individual activities, and we make sure that things are done in a staged manner, where you don't lose on time, because we are selling time. We are selling. Although it's a good technology, it's better, it's durable, this, that, but people, I think Amit also mentioned that people don't look at the time value of money. They just say how much is it going to cost me, and they just compare. They're comparing apples to oranges. But with precast, you save on time, and if you can use that time for something greater, you made money with it. I mentioned precast is still an emerging market, because it's a term which investors use to describe a developing industry. We're still a developing industry, and of course, with you get higher returns with greater risk. So that is why we feel that a lot of companies are still not fully investing in it, and they're still looking at the returns versus risk and comparing and all that. So the economy, the features of the emerging markets, so the economy is making a transition. We are getting into rapid industrialization with the greater needs of people shifting from small towns to big cities and stuff like that. And we've started with COVID and with people looking at the Chinese market in a different perspective. We have the potential to outgrow all the countries in the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. So this is what we need to scale our growth. Of course, we still have a lot of poverty in our country, and that's why it's called an emerging market. And there'll be a lot of investments which will be coming from the global markets to get into this. So this is something which I put together with respect to the innovation matrix as to why or how is precast disruptive and it's sustaining. So there's with time and savings. So we have 50% savings in construction time. When if it takes 5 years to do something in conventional, you can easily get it done in 2 years, 2.5 years. So there's 50% saving, and there's a 30% reduction in materials and labor. So the labor, when they do the same things day in and day out, they're in the factory. Their specific job is to do one thing, and it just keeps moving. You get good at things, and so there is a reduction in labor and materials. Of course, with greater concrete strengths, we could reduce the thicknesses. These days, people are looking at ultra high performance concrete, UHPC, where you can achieve 100 MPa, 150 MPa, whatever. I think that moving forward, precasters need to start adopting UHPC, and it's an add-on to your existing business. And of course, we don't have right now. We don't have the time. We don't have the resources. We don't have labor. How is it again disruptive and sustaining in respect to the scalability? So it's faster scalability than any other construction, and still it has an enhanced life of building with proper maintenance. We want to build faster, better, easier. Precast is the way forward. So this is a good example of how things are lined up. Again, this one also was the pyramid as to how things need to be done so that your end result is what you're expecting. So we need the vision and the strategic focus from the management, because management is the key. Somebody's investing money in it, somebody's planning to put up a precast factory or something. They need to have a vision and long-term strategy, and they need to have a team to implement the strategy. And then the next comes the organization and culture. You need to have roles and responsibilities for every department, every individual, every aspect of construction. And then there should be an interface and culture for open innovation. I think that is really helpful in the complete management or process life cycle. Then comes the life cycle management with design, detailing, the manufacturing facility, and QC, R&D. So that's the controlling these processes as a part of your pyramid is very important. And there are the enabling factors with respect to building information modeling, integrated project delivery, supply chain, and knowledge management. I think we don't talk about knowledge management, but skill power training and sharing of that skill sets. I think it's very important with precast so that it can be shared and passed to the next generations or the next team or whoever is coming in. And the final result will be growth in revenue and profits. And so happy clients, repeat business. So this is your pyramid, which we call it as you start from the top, and the end results is always happy. Now I'll get into the topic which I started. The differences between India and US. Of course, I think everybody here knows Precast Concrete Institute (PCI) is the technical institute, the body of knowledge, and the trade association for the precast industry in the US. It's a separate entity from ACI, which is American Concrete Institute, which handles all things concrete, which precast only looks at the precast concrete, let it be bridges or buildings. It was started in 1954 by I think about 5 or 6 companies, precast companies, and currently they have around 270 certified plants within the US. And they conduct research and development, they publish technical resources, they certify companies and individuals, educates industry stakeholders, and promotes networking opportunities amongst peers. There's so much going on with PCI. We keep getting emails every week as to there's a webinar going on, or there's a lunch and learn session. There's some discussion happening, the other something's going on all the time, and I think that is what we also need. With India, I think we have. Oh, I didn't mention ICI, Indian Concrete Institute, is the technical institute and the only body of knowledge for concrete industry in India. It We still don't have a body for precast concrete, and hopefully we push for that and get that. So I just went to ICI website and I was just understanding if I can find somebody with precast in it. So it was started in 1982, and there's 353 organizational members. That's what's listed on the website. And I'm thinking there's be hardly around 10 to 15 precast organizations who are members of ICI. When I went in the directory and I searched precast, I couldn't find even a single name with somebody as precast. So I can see that, because if you look at Teamage Precast is the trade name, but their official name is Teamage Builders Private
Dinesh,
Limited.
you
So
are running short on time. You have
okay,
to finish within 5 minutes.
sure, I'll push. Yeah. In the recent years, there's been a lot of awareness with precast technology, and I think in 2016, a handbook of precast was released, and that's a great start. Just going through the PCI website, like I said, there's so much resources. You can see the top thing where it says about design, certification, education, publications, and stuff like that. There's so much resources available that we can just use these resources to start. And there's guides of for architects. So they have architectural resources, they have specifications, they have project profiles. For engineers, they have connections, design charts, design tables, lunch and learn programs, or whatever. And then there's for contractors, they mention which are the award-winning projects. You can look at the colors, textures, selections, things like that. So much, like I said, resource available on the PCI website. They have a list of projects, I think around 600 projects, which have photos and information about them. You can just go through, scan through, you understand how it's shown, how it's done, and all that. Certification, which is a very important role with which PCI plays. They certify plants with architectural and structural certifications. They do bridge certifications. They do personnel certifications with respect to quality control and all that. And they do erector certifications as well, which helps, which the owners know that these are certified people and they are in safe hands. That's something we need to immediately start looking at. Publications, there's I think around 270 odd publications which are there, and I think most of them are free to download or whatever. So and then the PCI publications are easily accessible and free to download. Through the years of research and development, they've streamlined a lot of these processes, so we can learn from them. And the architectural drawings, through constant participation in training, have done a great job with precast. So Indian precast concrete industry is still in the nascent stage. We need to learn from our peers and move forward. The PCI design handbook, I won't get into details because I think most of us who are in the precast industry know this handbook, have a copy of it, and refer to it at least once a week or once a couple of weeks or whatever. It is very informative. You can find anything and everything with respect to precast in this. So there are a couple of there's 12 things which PCI lists as the body of knowledge and how these key elements are useful in PCI as a body, helping the industry as a overall things. And it is on the website. Due to short of time, I won't get into this. You can go on there and check it out. I think the Indian Concrete Institute needs to have a precast division set move forward and use these 12 points and to start creating organization for precast in India. This is the ICI website. I just, the difference, of course, I went in, there's the technical activities there. They have the committee shown, and the precast is TC02 is a precast construction. And this is the handbook on precast buildings. Of course, we all carry a copy of it and keep referring to it, keep understanding. And, we use this so that if somebody asks, okay, you're talking about US construction, do you have something with respect to this in India? And so we say, okay, this is a copy of it, and this is something you can look at, and this is what we follow. Although it's not very detailed and stuff, this is at least a very good starting point which we can use and tell them that there's something in India with respect to precast. So it's a very informative first handbook. We need to put together a committee to do a second edition or further editions with the latest provisions and design aids and stuff like that. And I think a directory needs to be involved, so whoever is looking at precast as an option can get this handbook and understand based on their region who is the approved precast or whatever. And the one thing we need also is chapter with respect to international codal provisions. We need to look at PCI, FIB, BCA, Singapore, and suggest some things which can be adopted from there. So that so we can suggest the same to the owners and the peer reviewers, that although the Indian code does not talk about this, the other international codes have this in place, and this is what the Indian handbook also says. And of course, we need the Indian Precast Concrete Association to be formed under the guidance of ICI. I'll get into detailing. One of the projects we worked on is it's a simple parking garage. At the base, it's standard grids and stuff like that. This is an architectural drawing. This is a structural drawing. So they know what they're doing. All their details are like this. And this is what we create as the precast erection drawing, general arrangement drawing, and then the shop tickets, individual shop tickets for individual pieces and stuff like that. So this is what it looks like. You see, it's modular, it's concrete, it's exposed concrete, and again, this was taken from PCI. Good things, you can see the brick. The brick is integral brick, which is done in the factory. The bottom portion is with the stained concrete, and we're showing the grooves and stuff like that. Although it looks simple, there's a lot of work which went into it, and it looks elegant, is what I feel. Just more examples, just keep going through it. You can see it's all exposed concrete. There is glass facades and there's integration with other technologies as well, but then the concrete is exposed. We're not putting plaster and paint on the concrete. This is a good example. They just use some kind of foam liner to make this building, and it looks amazing. You can look at those spandrel pieces and stuff. This is the top view of the project, and I think we need to, start adopting these. This was something
Dinesh,
which, yeah.
Dinesh, you need to wrap it fast.
Yeah, okay. So this is something which is interesting. I found, I thought it's a wood building, it's a concrete building. Indian standards, one of the projects I'm working on, you can see there's no modularity, the grid spacings are all different, the column sizes are all different, and this is what the architect wants. And we've created drawings. It's difficult, and this is what the elevation looks like. You can see there's so much going on, and they're just plastering everything. They're creating multiple layers and making it difficult for precasters to work on projects like this. This is something what we don't want, but this is what we are left with, and this is what we are doing. So what to do? Modularity, exposed concrete. We need to make the owners aware of this, and architect needs to try and cooperate with this concept. The industry need to educate and disseminate information. We need to create awareness by improving quality. Closing statements, precast is the future. It is here to stay. Everybody needs to adopt it. Everybody needs to start looking at it. We need to form the Indian Precast Concrete Association. That is imperative, and that is immediately required to kickstart the industry. The next will be the certification of the precast facilities and manpower and stuff like that, and the creation of precast specification and presentations to architectural associations all around the country to incorporate the same in their systems, because they have no clue what to do with respect to precast, and we are struggling to teach them. And thank you for the ICI Pune chapter for giving me the opportunity. It's a starting point, and I'm hoping that we could do something bigger with this. That's it.
Thanks, Dinesh. Okay, so here, whatever price Dinesh has mentioned, that is the actual price of this handbook, 2000 rupees. But for SEMCON delegates, there is a 45% discount. So all of the delegates can avail this book from ICS stall at 1100 rupees. So just wanted to update on that. And in fact, all the ICI publications can be availed at 45% discount. Okay, so let us take some question and answers.
Are there any specific educational courses after graduation to enter into the precast industry?
Yes and no. The PCI is associated with multiple institutes in the US, and they do fund research and development. They do connection testings. They do multiple design aids and stuff like that. So I would think as a elective, you can study precast in the Bachelor of Engineering. But then in masters, when people do masters, they do research with respect to precast, and I think that is where it helps in the industry.
Hello, Dinesh.
Yes, sir.
Can you specify is the when you are doing with the certification, how do you form the levels of precasters, and how do you because in India there is a contract systems of awarding the contract, and the big contracts are done in on EPC basis. Then precasters, how do you, like Amit was speaking that he is doing complete package, then only he is able to do, and he has got a problem of that he has to completely, like he is setting up the plant at the project site, and he is having the issue of scrapping the things after the project. So what can be done in like in US and all? Your how's your experience there of putting up, setting up the factories in the different areas, and the suppliers are taking the elements from there, and the design standardization, how the
Yeah.
design standardization is being done? Because
True.
here every architect or every structural designers are specifying different things. So how do you control the standardization? That's my
Right.
question.
Yeah. So there's two things to it. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. So PCI recently has published architectural certification guidelines, and so previously there was not so many certification categories. Now they've created a category where you can see that the difference. This is a brochure which they published. It's the architectural certification, and they've separated them into different categories. So AA, AB, AC. So and they've given examples. So if you see, there's one panel, architectural panel, where it's a curved panel with a top cornice and multiple other things, and this is for AA. And AB, it's only single band and there's no top layer and things like that. If you look at something else, you can see the difference here. This is AA right here on the left, and AB on the right, where you can see there's again some projections on the top. So they've certified plants who are able to manufacture these type of elements, and they have a certification agency which goes in, they creates pieces, and this is how they certify the architectural. And you can see they've given project examples and stuff like that. So when an architect is designing a project, they can think of as to what do they want to specify. Do they want really a good looking building like the one you see on the left? This is all complete precast. Do they want something like this? Then they, in their specifications, they say that only category AA manufacturer can participate in the bid, and that helps them because they know that they will get the correct product. If they certify, if they say, okay, they show the left drawings, and they say anybody who has a category AD can bid for it, then you have a trouble. So you need to have the expertise to be able to do this. So they've made it a little bit bigger, and they've given multiple things with the requirements, and they've again certified plans with different. I think there is hardly around 20 or 25 AA certified plans in the US. The same thing with structural certifications, they only have buildings and bridges. So they don't have very much certifications with respect to structural, but I think they do look at your previous projects. When people bid for projects, they look at previous experience and stuff like that. I think what I read recently that the Indian government is looking at or has already scrapped the EMD requirements and the requirements for large scale projects, where I think L&T is lost on some of the, it's not with respect to precast, but some of the projects they've lost because their number was higher. I think that's not a healthy competition. You need to have a competition between equals. And so if somebody who's never done 1,000 crore project bids for it and gets it, we don't know how it will turn out at the end of 5 years. And if it's delayed, then you're stuck. The government or the industry or whoever is backing it is stuck. So we need a common playing field. You cannot have somebody who's only done 10 crores worth of project bidding for a 500 crore project and thinking that he needs to be given an opportunity. There's always pluses and minuses with that. But with precast, what we need to do right now as an Indian industry is that we need to look at the capabilities. We need to look at, okay, do they have hollow core machines? Do they have pre-stressing technologies? Do they have a proper factory? They have batching plans of their own. What is the size? What is, things like that. I think we can have categories and then certify the plans, or categorize the plans. We are not certifying them. At least categorize them in class A, class A, B, C, whatever. So then that will help them, help the owners understand who to go with.
Okay.
Hello, sir. So my name is Omkar. I have two questions, sir. So first is, can we do architectural changes in precast construction? And my second question is, as I'm a student of MTech, doing my post-graduation in construction engineering and management, so what would you suggest for our generation, how to enter in precast construction, who want to take the precast to high level?
Uh, One is architectural changes. Yeah, see, until it is produced, until it is manufactured, any changes is okay. So the process of the architect sharing their drawings with the precaster, and the precaster will create their precast drawings and then submit it for approval. Once it's approved from the architect and the engineer and the design team and the owners and everybody, then we assume that okay, we can start manufacturing. If there are changes after that, that's at additional cost. That will cost somebody. We don't know who it will cost. If it's the architect's fault, the owners can say, well, you approved it and then you're changing it. It is from your fee. That is not the right thing to do. Is we need to look at creating better drawings, better details, understanding what is going to happen. And then once you approve it, it is good for manufacturing. It's good for construction. Then you should not go and look at things. Once it's produced and then you still want to change it and you are ready to pay for it, then it's a whole process where the concrete is wasted and this and that. The second question with respect to the new generation coming into the precast, we are not an organized industry yet. So, I cannot say. If you go to PCI website, you can see careers listed. If one of the precasters have an opening, they put it on the PCI website and people can go and apply and all that. We don't have that kind of group or organization where you can understand. But I would think, maybe in the near future, we will start that. We will have a website of our own and people will start putting their thing. Right now, LinkedIn is your best bet. Search with keywords with precast. If somebody is hiring, if your skill set is matching, go join them. It's a learning process. These days, people are in a fast, people think that, okay, we can immediately learn and we can become CEOs and stuff like that. That will take time with precast.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Dinesh, sir. And please accept our gratitude online itself. Thank you, Dinesh, sir. We have presentation from our platinum sponsor, L&T. So I would request Mr. Parijat Nahar to come on the stage and deliver the presentation.
Thank you, Sucheta. And From behalf of Larsen & Toubro, I welcome you all to SEMCON 2021. Actually, it's a welcome change to be back to in-person events after 2 years of online meetings. Of course, there's a different flavor that comes out of meeting people in person and sharing knowledge. And it has been a very electrifying first two sessions, listening to real good uh, points of view on the way the precast industry is developing in India. I'll just take this opportunity to take you through my organization. I represent Larsen & Toubro, and I am from the tendering unit of the residential business, which is one of the units that majorly executes precast projects within the Larsen & Toubro group. Just a wrap up of the company, founded in 1938 by two stalwarts, Mr. Soren Christian Toubro and Henning Holst Larsen. We presently are over 100,000 employees with a global presence in various business units. We are presently a $19 billion global conglomerate that works in technology, consulting, and various other engineering businesses. We have been growing our global footprint in various business divisions across the world, and that is what the company is today in terms of growth and revenue. We have also had recognitions across the world and within the nation for excellence in construction and many other activities that we are involved in. And that is, of course, a global footprint that includes our construction projects as well as our factories, offices, and competency cells, which are spread across the globe. If we look at our industry footprint, we are in various sectors which are basically in the field of infrastructure creation and in various fields of technology and manufacturing. So basically out of this, the infrastructure segment is the one concerning the construction division, which is where I come from. And basically my independent company is the buildings and factories unit. Apart from that, we are into power, hydrocarbons, we are into the process industry, we are also into defense, one of the few domestic players in defense who have the capability to cater to the needs of the Indian defense industry. And apart from that, we are in the real estate also, where L&T Realty caters to the realty division. And then, of course, we are into finance and also information technology. So when we say L&T, we basically mean that we are large and we are also going tall. We have made many of the first, many of the largest, and many of the most prestigious projects across all segments of construction and infrastructure creation in the country and also abroad. So here you can see we are into hydel projects, we are into electrical substations, we are also building the Riyadh Metro, we are into smart cities, and we have developed the smart surveillance systems in many cities, including Mumbai, which was a very complex project. We have also built the largest steel plant in India. And that goes into the building segment itself, where we are looking to become large and tall also. We are building the super high rises that dot the high line of Mumbai today. Most of the towers that you would see if you drive through the Bandra-Worli sea link are built or are being built by Larsen & Toubro. If you look at the buildings and factories business, we are into various kinds of structures that includes airports, office complexes, hospitals, residential towers, educational institutions, public spaces, stadiums, and manufacturing facilities. So here you can see various malls that we have built across the country that includes the Seawood Grand Central in Navi Mumbai and a host of other international projects also. Apart from that, this is just to take you through a panorama of projects that we have built across the country and also abroad that are prestigious, complex, as well as serve needs of the various segments of the country. Of course, jewel in the crown is the Statue of Unity. That is the largest and the highest statue in the world today. Airports also, if you look at the major privatized airports that have been developed in the recent past, all of them have been built by Larsen & Toubro. That includes Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, and Chennai. And of course, we have the Sohar and the airports in Oman, which we have also redeveloped and also rebuilt. If you look at the residential experience, we have been into residential townships as well as super high-rise towers in various parts of the country, especially in Mumbai. One of our recently completed projects is the ICC towers in Mumbai from Bombay Realty. And apart from that, we have done mass housing projects for the government and private sector in many places in the country. If you look at our factories experience, this is just a panorama of major factories that we have built across the country. Cement plants have also been one of our business sectors where we have done jobs for many of the reputed players in the country. And this is just a panorama of our international jobs that we have done. That includes infrastructure projects, building projects, and as well as connectivity projects. This also includes the fabrication facility at Oman that caters to the hydrocarbons and other heavy industries that we cater to in the Middle East and other markets. That is in addition to the manufacturing facility in Hazira, which is one of the biggest in Asia. Now, these are some international projects of repute that we have done. Among them is the Al Rayyan Stadium that will host reputed matches in the upcoming World Cup 2022 in Qatar. And of course, we are also building the Riyadh Metro project, one of its packages therein. If you look at residential construction, we offer a gamut of services in the entire value chain. We build integrated townships, multi-storied buildings, gated communities, as well as luxury housing and affordable housing. And the services that we provide is also from concept to completion. That includes design, construction, and architectural master planning and other services. If you look at our design capabilities, our engineering design and research center is one of a kind setup wherein we have in-house capability and a very, very good team of trained and experienced designers who cater to the needs of the industry and have done the design for many complex projects. Herein, we are providing solutions for architecture, structure, as well as electromechanical services. This is the setup that we have. We have over 150 designers with us who provide in-house design for all our design build projects that we undertake. As far as technologies are concerned, if you look at formwork systems, we are there with the cutting edge technologies at our disposal, which we are executing in various jobs. We are also looking at building information modeling as an enabler to execute increasingly complex projects in various geographies. The virtual design studio is a welcome addition that helps even the customer to visualize the project at the initial stages, and that also gives more efficiency to all stakeholders. High-rise expertise is one more place where we have been adding to our portfolio and expertise. As I said, many of the high-rises in Mumbai that you see nowadays are either being built or have been built by Larsen & Toubro. This is another project recently completed in Mumbai that is for Oberoi Realty. And this is just a panorama of other similar jobs that we are executing. Apart from that, we are also into developing gated townships and major townships for developers across the country. This is just a panorama of some projects that we have developed. And the services provided herein are including design, construction of structure, MEP, architecture, external works. This is continuing with that. We have also built the slum rehabilitation projects in Mumbai, which are a critical component in improving the infrastructure of the city. This includes the Bhoiwada job, which was discussed and showcased in detail by Amit. And this is the CIDCO project, which we are presently executing in Navi Mumbai. This is also one of our keystone projects, and we are putting in our expertise to really give a satisfactory and a cutting-edge product in this segment. If you look at formwork, again, we are working with aluminium formwork as one of our major formwork systems in residential projects. And of course, precast, which is the topic of this conference, as well as a field wherein we are continuing to develop expertise. Apart from that, we have also looked and worked with other major recent construction or rapid construction technologies like tunnel form, of course, precast, and also 3D concrete printing, wherein we are the first in the country to develop a G+1 reinforced 3D concrete printed structure in-house. When we come to safety and health, safety, and environmental systems, we are uh, we are having one of the best systems within the organization. It is a structure wherein we follow all the international standards, and we have been awarded by the best in the industry for the performance that we have given at our projects. Safety is one of our utmost concerns. Sustainable growth is also an area where the industry has, or Larsen & Toubro had taken very seriously and is focusing on it with all its strength. We are following the triple bottom line approach, and our integrated reports is one of a kind in the country. And we have also set ourselves sustainability milestones, which we are totally intent to achieve. If you look at our capability to develop and deliver green buildings as per various norms like IGBC as well as the GRIHA norms in India, this is what, in a nutshell, we have delivered as far as our building projects are concerned. And we continue to do that with our in-house design capability. Now, all these photographs that you are seeing are from our own campus in Chennai. So we are starting the good initiatives from our own backyard, and we continue to deliver similar products to all our customers also. So in a nutshell, if you look at our capabilities, we straddle the entire value chain. We'll give you all the services that are related to developing a contract and delivering it within time, with cost, and to the satisfaction of all stakeholders. Digitization is something which, again, the organization is focusing very seriously on. And we have put in place and are developing a host of tools that at one time make the construction more efficient. And together with that, they also add value to the project, and they're creating a database that will help us to make construction a better place, a more efficient place to work with as we go ahead. So this is from me and from L&T. Thank you for your time, and I hope I interact with, or L&T continues to interact with all of you and with the industry. Thank you.